I don't know how long this will be, but I think it's really fun because I've been watching a lot of videos about how, and I can't believe there's actually. I mean, I don't understand the history about how Democrats pretty much represent the ones that I believe were okay with slavery and that fought it on the South Side in America speaking. I can't believe there's actually people that actually believe that Republicans were the ones. I mean, I think they're both the same house. I don't think there's any difference. That's why I just can't understand why is human race so dumb? I mean, no offense, but the human race is fucking dumb. Um, Republicans and Democrats both suck. They are the same exact house. Look at our election. People wake up, look at our election, look how the politicians interact with each other, look how they talk to each other. Look at the TV shows that we watch now with all this woke culture stuff. Podcasts are pretty much how everybody finds out what's going on in the world nowadays and what's going on and this and what's going on that. And where people get their advice is nothing but just drama junkie entertainment. I mean, that's all we are now. I mean, nobody even really talks about. There's still sports and there's still stuff out there being talked about. But a good majority, 90% of the stuff we talk about is transgender and equality and women against men and high stake men and alpha women that's not really an alpha woman and all this stupid shit. I mean, I'm losing my mind. I don't belong on Earth. I don't belong on this planet at all. And I mean, I know a lot of my videos on my page really don't paint me the greatest light, but that was my time when I began this, little recording myself. Uh, I mean, yeah, I was drinking a little bit during those videos. Kind of helped me got the courage to do these, and now, I mean, besides the fact that I get cut back to save money and all that, I don't see the point in drinking all these videos anymore. I mean, every now and then I might be a little tipsy, but not like my first videos. I, I just come on here because I haven't had the greatest luck. I mean, I got 15 subscribers now. Um, at least two, maybe more of those are probably my ex and her girlfriend stalking me. But I mean, I have a few friends that follow me. I don't know if they actually watch my stuff. I mean, I know when I actually talk to people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely feel like I have an ego about how I know what's really going on, and I truly do believe that. In politics, I mean, I might not be the greatest person to describe and tell people stories. You know, and really, I mean, people are all defensive and on guard and thinking they know what's going on when, I mean, they don't. I don't think anybody really does. Besides the people behind the curtain. And there are any people out there that feel, truly do feel old beyond your years. Old enough to tell a planet what to think. Believe in, because I mean, I've studied religions and I mean, history, evolution, science. I do believe it's a form of, decoding religion belief. Because AI, science, and technology all have a play in it. I mean, understanding how a watch works kind of gives you an outlook on how the universe works. The universe works. I mean, each gear, I mean, especially the old school watches, each gear represents a galaxy. Each hole in the gear represents, you know, a planet. You know, each hole in the thing, I don't know, I can't really describe it all that well, but yeah, I think of an old school pocket watch that's nothing but gears, and that's like probably one of the most beautiful map of the universe. If you want to really truly think about it, but I mean, I don't know. I came on here to talk about, but now I just where how did we get here? I mean, I've been having honestly the last few days, maybe a week. I have a lot of just philosophical fucking mind fucking crashes of just really deep thoughts and opinions and future saying, I guess, in some aspects on everything that's going on in the world. It's just a lot going on in my head right now. I mean, I think about my personal life and everything I'm dealing with, my ex and my kids, and hope they're doing good. And I got my girl that I'm with now, and got 3 kids with her. We're on our third one right now. I have 5 kids total, and dealing with my ex and her girlfriend and their childish, well, BS, and dealing with building a foundation with my girl now and how to raise our kids, dealing with the system. Almost done. It's been a long road, but 3 more months. Yeah, and they'll be out of our lives finally. You know, year clean. My girl's got about 2 years clean. Um, yeah, taking our lives back, getting off the streets, getting a place over our head, an address to call ours, a room for our girls to sleep in, getting our girls back out of the system and actually back home where they belong. Now I just need to collect myself and go tackle my other 2 kids because parenting plan's a joke and the system's a joke. X is a joke. And I'm the punchline, I guess. But I don't know, just looking at the world now. Because I've been doing a lot of thinking because, raise my kids and how I want to, how I want to be and how I want to raise my kids. And I mean, in a manner of speaking, raise, I mean, you don't really raise them, you just help them, teach them somewhat in aspects and raise them, I guess, a little bit. I mean, I think, you raise them up for a purpose, and I raise them up for a purpose, but I don't really, you don't really shape them, you know, you kind of like, you let life and their minds, imagination, and your words shape the stepping stones that they stand on when they first come into consciousness of their own opinions and thinking for themselves and how they see the world. And then you gotta hope that the person that they get with was raised right by 2 other people, hopefully. And I understand everything that goes on in the world and how people are petty and self-centered, but there are good ones out there. That just because you got your heart broken doesn't mean people suck. Just because you do drugs doesn't mean mom and dad don't love you. Just because you cheated on a test doesn't mean you're disappointed and we're not happy and you know better. But and I'm not saying these could be things that my kids do. I mean, my girl's already got almost I think she's 17 now and she's got a kid. You know, but in the aspects, she's with the man. The only man that she's been with. and got her knocked up, and he stood by her, took her in when she was dealing with stuff. So all in all, they good. I mean, no parent wants their 12, 14, 16, getting pregnant. Nobody wants their 18-year-old getting pregnant right away. But that goes back in more of the biological fucking BS stuff that, the woke culture doesn't like to think about. I mean, women, I hate to break it to you, but you guys have a time clock. I mean, from what I think 30 to 45 is when your breaking point, when you really have a hard time. I mean, I think 30 and 35 is when, you start to find that wall. If you haven't realized it before then, and haven't gotten settled down and gotten with a man and gotten kids and all that, by 40, 45, you might as well just throw in your egg. I'm not saying you won't find, somebody to dive with. I mean, I do believe there's somebody out there for everybody. Might be a guy you have to settle for, might be a guy that is just dumb. I don't know. But in the big meaning of life, I do think kids and family and all that is, to keep our connection between each other and, our feelings of being alone, society with being with somebody, but also keeping our human race going. I do think that, I mean, everything in between is just a path to get us there, but I think our biggest thing is just to keep us here. I mean, because, I think, keep on having kids. I mean, like, if we stop having kids and time goes on, I mean, sooner or later, everybody will be dying, and our human race would just cease to exist. But if we keep on having kids, our human race continues on. Nothing else has that much of a big enough impact on us. I mean, if the power goes out, I mean, it would be difficult, but I think we'd be able to survive. There's still daytime, so as long as we make it through the night, in the cold, because it's gonna get cold without light. Because without lights, it goes without, that goes without power, that goes without heat. People are gonna have to learn how to navigate a lot better without their phones and flashlights and smartphones. But I mean, like, I just think if we just stop having kids, that's like the biggest impact on the human race. Nothing else would hit us so hard. I think that's why, like, keeping men and women to fight with each other, keeping our opinions different between each other is like keeping us divided. I mean, it's the best way to, keep us divided is, you know, having different opinions that and not embrace facts and logic. Because where's the plus side in all this? What is the positive side of all this trans stuff? I mean, there are people out there that are seeing a lot of these videos that we know that there are trans that are not happy. Matt Walsh even stated the fact that there hasn't been enough time to have done research into this topic. That the kids now that are going through this stuff and the adults that are going through this stuff are the test subject. They're patient zero. So these are the test trials to see if this actually works, and we're acting like it already has worked before. So, like, as men and women are not wanting to get in relationships and have kids, and then the people that we have now are feeling like they should be in the opposite sex, so they mutilate their parts that keeps the race going. No offense. And then you have gays that don't mess around with the opposite sex. So you have gays that go adopt kids, which in hindsight is cool because they like to go and take kids out of the system and hopefully raise them right. I mean, unfortunately, there's been a few gays that have painted them in a bad light. But I mean, they're at least taking them out of the system, raise them. But then you got women, and unfortunately, I mean, they might adopt, some, but they all are also. I mean, even if half of them adopt, you still got half of them that go get stork kids and want to buy sperm and have their own kid. So in hindsight, they're just half of them are adopting kids in the system, but the other half is having children with random sperm that they get and then doing it all by themselves, bitching and moaning as they go. I mean, maybe not all of you, but a vast majority. I mean, it goes back with fucking, single father homes might be the better off out of single mother homes, and single father homes might, you know, have the same statistics as two parent home. But why guys don't want to be a single parent, right? The kind of guys that want to be single parents don't want to be parents, and are typically the guys that fuck you and leave you and ghost you and have no real compass or desire to be a father, or they're just not at a time where they're not really thinking like that, which then they should be fucking. I mean, I think that goes along with. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I mean, I'm very religious, but I mean, I do believe that if you're not ready to, have a kid, then you shouldn't do the act that possibly could lead to a kid. I mean, or if you do, wear a condom. And I think that's where the whole logic behind the whole like why women are responsible 100%, because unless you grape, the woman has a say in every aspects. The four different pills that they can take, the IUD that they can have implanted. They have their own female condoms. They can demand that you wear a condom. I mean, and they can say no. And if by chance a condom breaks and you come inside them, they get to choose to whether or not to be, take the plan B or go get an abortion. And they don't have to tell you. And even if you want to keep the child, you don't particularly have a say. And typically, if you take it to court, you most of the time fucking will lose. I mean, because her body, her choice. And then when guys actually do speak up about abortions and how they don't like it, then they're told to shut up and you're not allowed to have an opinion because it's her body, her choice. And why isn't anyone going to tell her, what to do? And then you have women that want to say, like, well, you came inside of me, so you should have known better. So, no, you're not allowed to walk away. And no, I should be able to get, child support from you, even though you told me that you didn't want a kid, or even though I didn't tell you that I got pregnant, or I just put you on. You found out that I have a kid because I came after you for child support kind of stuff. I mean, guys get screwed in the system. They don't have a say, and I mean, but I mean. Then you have like this whole sexist march, this whole feminist march where women need to be empowered because of body positivity or of stupid ways you have for women can do everything a man can do, but men can't do what women do. And unless you're a man that thinks you're a woman, then you're just as empowered as a woman. But you don't have to actually be a woman or do any surgery. If you do, it's cool, but you don't have to. And most of the women that, I mean, most of the people that are actually backing up this whole stupid movement between men thinking they're women are other women, empowering these men to validate their delusion that you are a woman. No matter what anybody says, you are a woman. We believe in you. We stand with you, sister. And if a man speaks up about that, you know, that's not, the patriarchy winning. But if I tell you, no, you're not, oh, you're trying to impress women. He's not a woman. So how am I oppressing, him because he says he's a woman? And then you got all this stupid stuff where teachers, make their whole sexuality who they are, not a part of who they are, not a little bit of who they are, or who they are out of the classroom. No, they want to make it a part of who they are everywhere. And then you get butthurt and then how did we come here to where we want trans and drags and weird Satanist fuckers, reading to children at libraries, and how did we get here to where people are talking about, how these porn books are in schools, and then you have other people that I've talked about their own personal life that don't believe any of this is actually really happening, or not as bad as we're making it sound, like I mean, I got done talking with my caseworker for GCYF how I don't want they and them and men thinking they're women and women thinking they're men on my case, and how I'm sorry, but somebody with that kind of mindset should not be in a field where they can decide what happens to children and families that are trying to get their kids back. I know I kind of went on that little rant, but I mean, along with that, I've been having a lot of spiritual thoughts and religion about. I mean, I have my own path, my own belief, and it probably like aligns a little bit with this religion and that religion, but in a nutshell, it doesn't fit because it's not fully embracing that belief. I've taken up religion, studied so many religions. I haven't studied all of them. I've studied the basic 42 religions that are still practiced in a matter of speaking today. But there's about 4,200 and something, I think, known religions throughout our entire history. But if you break it down, there's about 10 different forms of religion. Just many ways to explain it and understand it and grasp it and see it. um, but I've come to just build my own belief. I wear my hammer. I respect Norse gods. I respect all beliefs and all gods. Because I do believe, the gods we know, I think, were at one time had their own world. I don't think we really were a part of it at one time. And I kind of think we were not planned, but not a mistake. I think we were right in the middle. I think we're maybe kind of an anomaly. Something that is that shouldn't have been, or something that shouldn't have been that it came to be. Maybe maybe we weren't supposed to live on this long, and just held on. I mean, I definitely do think there are other life out there. I just think with how big this planet is, and then you think outside of here, you have all this space, and what we do know in the 50, 70 years of exploring the space, which we don't really talk about space all much, really. We kind of do it, don't, but not as much as we did before, back when Apollo 11 and 13, and all the other spacecrafts that went up in space, and all the moon landings, and Buzz Lightyear, and the talk about living on Mars. But I don't think aliens want anything to do with us. And I don't think we're the only life form out there that aliens don't want anything to do with. And I think is probably other alien life, another life out there that probably does know about other life. But like, we know about them, but doesn't mean they want to acknowledge us knowing, and they don't want us knowing. They don't want to interact with us. Because if you're talking about an intelligent life form that could be similar or different than to us in biological aspects, that could be on a planet that is just like or similar or not even close to being like ours, depending on the material compound of the planet, between how the iron is there, or if they have some you know titanium that's soft, or plutonium that burns cold. I don't know. Depending on how far they are into the intellect of space and time, how advanced their civilization is, to be able to travel through space. I mean, it would just be like Star Trek in aspect of Star Wars. I mean, you'd have to be able to pretty much build a bubble around you, and you would control everything within, but not and pretty much swim through it like water in a submarine. I mean, you'd have to build a dome. One of those domes they build their own atmosphere in it with oxygen and but more with aspects on space with gravity and all that, and just I mean, I can't really find the right words to explain, but it's just science and technology that I don't think we are, human race is privileged to know, or we don't know. I mean, I do believe. I do believe in that our government is not really a real government. I believe that government is really hidden, and I do believe that they are so much more advanced than we are led to believe. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're traveling out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a spacecraft up in space. I wouldn't be surprised if we're already socialized with aliens. I mean, I did come up with this whole theory about how I believe that everything around here is pretty much just smoke screen to make the aliens out there think that we're, primitive, that we're naive and ignorant, that we're not worth, that we haven't hit a high enough intelligent level for them to interact with us, and we haven't learned from our mistakes. Kind of paint us in a certain picture to where they're not worth destroying us or invading us, but they're not worth helping us. Kind of that middle ground. So they just keep their distance and maybe see that we have potential, but they notice that we haven't, noticed it. But little do they know that underneath all this is a very intelligent being, very selfish and self-centered, like the Goa'uld in Stargate. Um, and I mean, maybe they have treaties with us, and for the ones that we do let know that we're advanced, part of the treaty with that anyone that comes in contact with us is that they sign a NATO treaty that they keep their mouth shut about the truth about this planet, and they don't tell their people that there is an intelligent life here, for one reason or another. But I'm kind of going on a rant. But I mean, these are just like thoughts that are going through my head. And I know how they sound. I mean, I'm not stupid, and I know I'm not crazy, but I know I sound like it. Um, but I mean, like, these are all plain scientific, sci-fi, fantasy, reality-based questions and thoughts. I mean, we know space is real. We know there's other planets out there. We know the galaxy has and the universe has incredible mysteries to us that we haven't even fathomed or thought about. We don't know much about the planet. I mean, so how far fetched and crazy is it really to think there's aliens out there, or there were aliens out there? I mean, magic and science and religion are not that different, honestly, people. Um, But I also do think that we're coming to slowly find out more and more. I mean, I do think people are waking up. I just don't. I think they're getting fried in the process. It's the same thing with like crazies out there. You know, some of that talk all that Bible stuff, and there's been certain ones I've actually talked to and listened to and interacted with, and I think I mean, with some of the stuff they say, I think they're a little on something besides the drugs. I think they're on the right path. I think they just weren't ready for knowing what they know, and I think it fried them. I think it's also, I mean, with religion, I think it's a little bit brainwashed. I think, and if they come to find out that everything that they believe is a lie, I think it would fry their brains. If Christianity, Wiccan, Satanism and satanic, Hindu, Muslim, you know, Arabic, fucking Jewish, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon. I mean, if they actually found out, what they believed and what they have believed and what they have endured is a bullshit lie, um, I think their brains would fry. But the same thing with atheists. If they found out that they were right, I think they would. I think their brains would fry too. I don't think they'd be able to handle the whole concept of nothing being here. Truly, I mean, I don't think any. I think that's a form of depression and atheism. To believe that there's nothing, that nothing. I mean, maybe not the whole consciousness man up there in the sky watching you, because I think that's a little far fetched. That's a little too out there. But we never know. I think atheists, if they found out they were right, I think they would just lose their shit just as much as if Christian found out that what they believe is false. Um, but then again, you can have a flip side of that coin to where they find out if everything they believe is right, and atheists find out that they were wrong, that there is a God, and Christians find out that heaven is real. I mean, but I think when you go to heaven, I think you're still part of that. Because, I mean, you get there and you don't spaz out at all. You're just calm about it. You're like,